Hello, I'm Martin, and today I'm going to talk about how to keep your children safe using connected devices. Nowadays, it's almost impossible to keep our children away from the internet. They have smartphones, they use tablets, they have access to computers, and they use a myriad of internet connected devices, including things like game consoles and these days even toys. Sadly though, the internet can be full of risks, especially for children, and it's therefore really important that we make sure we're doing everything possible to make them aware of these risks and that we have the right security measures in place on their devices. So, let's have a look at a few safety actions you can take to protect them. The first thing that we would say is, when using a mobile, the first thing to do is to put your contact details in as a speed dial, so that then the child can always get in touch with you in the case of an emergency. Newer smartphones also allow you to make ICE, emergency contact information, available when the phone is locked, and this is one of the first steps that we'd recommend that you take. In case you don't know how to set this, go to the CF Systems website, which is www.cfsystems.co.uk, and in the news section you'll find some hints and tips. We'd also suggest that you just talk to them regularly, openly and honestly about the dangers of being connected and make them aware not just of the risks of hacks and scams, but also the implicit dangers involved in talking to strangers on the internet. Sadly, these days youngsters are some of the most targeted people online, so tell them that they can talk to you if someone they don't know contacts them, or if they're concerned about cyberbullying. Keeping an open, ongoing, honest conversation could be the key to protecting them in these types of scenarios. We'd also say that if you're about to hand them their first device, make sure you have all of the right security measures in place on that device. Just for an example, we would suggest that you should enable parental controls for online browsing. We recommend that you should implement restrictions when downloading apps. Restrictions on social media are also something to look at and implement. For example, most apps use location services, but the majority of these actually don't need those services enabled in order to function. So we'd suggest carefully reading the access every app requires and modifying it if required. Another subject to talk about is the whole use of social media. Online fraudsters rely heavily on this to find out as much information as possible about their targets, and something that seems relatively innocuous, such as a simple photograph showing a meal with some friends at a certain location, could reveal precious information. So go through their privacy settings with them and only enable what's necessary and talk to them about the risks of online sharing. Also, many online platforms allow anyone to sign up and start a conversation. These platforms are often advertised as being safe for under 18s, but it's also often proved that that is not the case. We therefore suggest that it's advisable that you don't allow your children to be on them. And if you're wondering what specific platforms we're talking about, you can find some great information on the BBC website or on the Think You Know website, which is a great resource for online safety information for children of all ages. And you can find this at www.thinkyouknow.co.uk. These are just a few basic tips, but I hope they're helpful. If you'd like some more in-depth information, we'd recommend using the NSPCC website, which you can find at www.nspcc.org.uk. Thank you for watching.
If you'd like to know more, please get in touch.